Hi, I'm Judith from the Shona Project. Today we have the marvelous Emma Gleeson here with us today. Welcome, Emma. Emma's here with us at the Shine Festival 2021. We're just going to have a little chat. So, Emma, if you'd like to introduce yourself, give a little insight to everyone about who you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Judith. I'm thrilled to be here. So honored to be asked. So I am a writer and a sustainability consultant, and I specialize in decluttering, which might seem like a kind of an odd pairing, but I'm passionate about trying to teach people to care more about the objects that make up their lives, where they came from, how we take care of them when we use them, and how we should dispose of them at the end. So I'm so thrilled to be here.
Fantastic. Jack of all trades and master of all also, it seems. I love it. So I'm just interested, how did you start on the sustainability journey? What was the passion or push behind it for you?
I think I was always a little bit of an eco nerd when I was a kid, into like Save the Rainforest stuff. But it really came to a head when I moved to London after my first degree, which was in theatre, so completely disconnected to what I do now.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I do a lot of public speaking, so I guess it ties in. But I went to do a master's in the history of fashion in London. And I just was plunged headfirst into the world of sustainable fashion and was just exposed to the kind of the badness of how so many of our possessions, not just our clothing, is made. And I did it. My master's dissertation was focused on the psychological effect that fast fashion consumption has on young women. Wow. So I really kind of got deep into it there, and I've been passionately involved in it ever since.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And once you did start on that journey, did you find it difficult for yourself, or what kind of steps did you implement into your own daily life to kind of create and start your own sustainability journey as such?
It was hard. And what I would say is, especially, I know I'm talking to a lot of people who are young on this, and like for someone like me who does really care deeply about things and thinks about things deeply, it was a hard transition. Once you kind of take the lid off the kind of horror of the world, it can be really overwhelming. So yeah, I did get a bit overwhelmed. There were times when I was like, I don't know what I can even buy to eat. What shampoo do I buy? It can be very overwhelming. So what I would say is those feelings might come up, but you have to just move past them, because we are all living in the matrix.
Absolutely, yeah.
In the capitalist system, you cannot, unless you want to move to a remote island, grow all your own vegetables. Making 100% ethical decisions is impossible. People come to me all the time saying, where do I buy my underwear? Where do I do this? And I say, you have to make some decisions that don't align with your knowledge and your moral compass. And that's really hard. But feeling that guilt helps nobody. So we have to move past that at some point. And yeah, that was hard. But over the years, I've come to see that when I do feel that guilt or that overwhelm, I try and channel it into an action, an energy. So maybe if I feel bad about where I have to buy my underwear, I might donate to a garment workers union in India or something like that. So the guilt will be there, and the overwhelm is real, because the world is vast and we are all so interconnected. So it was difficult, but it's just about being kind to yourself and realizing that you can't change it alone, but the changes that you make will impact the change massively. So it's sitting with that kind of mix. Yeah.
I love that. And I really admire that honesty to put that out to people that yes, this may be a difficult journey, but an absolutely one that is possible to ascertain. Would you have any top tips as such to, some of us, or hopefully all of us, that would making that choice to kind of make more sustainable choices in our lives day to day? Any things that be okay, this is going to make it easy and maybe in a way rewarding that you've made that choice?
Well, my favorite tip is to rotate your wardrobe, right? Because I'm sure lots of us do that for summer or winter stuff anyway, but the tip is put away some clothes that fit you, that make you feel good, that you really like. Put them away under your bed or wherever. And then when you get that niggle for something new that we all get, and even more in the lockdown, I know I have even, and I'm not, I sometimes I feel like I'm free from it all, and then I'm like, I just want a lipstick. So when you get that niggle for something new, go to your little bag of curated items or rotated items, and it's like you've gone shopping. Honestly, it is my favorite tip, because humans, our brains are designed to adapt to what we see every day, and we get bored. So if you're opening your wardrobe and it's the same stuff every day, you're going to be like, well, I've nothing new. This trick really works. It is fantastic. In terms of other things, I would say do it. Don't say it's all or nothing. Don't say, okay, this week it's going to be zero plastic in my house. That's it. That's the end. It's not realistic. You have to make small changes and integrate them slowly. So there are so many amazing retailers like Reusey, Green Outlook, and The Kind. Like there are so many people operating in Ireland selling, the everyday items we use sustainably. You can get so many beautiful Irish beauty products now. It's about making the steps slowly, learning as you go, and enjoying it. Enjoying it is so important.
Oh, really important to have that concept in your head. I did read something on one of your Instagram posts that it says too much choice dissatisfies.
Yeah.
So what did you mean by that? Just so we can get like a little insight into that.
So that is one of the key things I love talking to people about when I'm talking about the psychology of consumer culture. So it is a psychological phenomenon called the paradox of choice. And there's a really good TED talk on this if you want to get more information. And it basically means that the more choice we are presented with, the less satisfied we will be with our choice. So I feel like consumer culture wants to sell us the idea that choice is fantastic. It's really empowering. Like how amazing that you can have all these decisions and constantly new stuff thrown at you, but it's actually very stressful. And that is because the more choices you have, your brain then remembers and says, oh, but what about that? And what about that? It remembers the choices you didn't make. So another really good tip is limiting your choices. And I think as you get older, it's a little easier. You kind of know what suits you more in your clothing. You know what you want to eat more. It's harder when you're younger, you're experimenting. But I think if you can remember that the choice is not empowering and fun, it's actually very stressful. Like I can't even go onto the ASOS website or it's just overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. There's so much and you're like, yeah.
Think about like the most dreaded conversation I have with my husband is like, what will we watch on TV tonight? Because it's just like, when you go into Netflix, it's overwhelming. And limit the choices, which sounds counterintuitive, but it's actually much more counterintuitive. Yeah.
And there is that myth that like, if you kind of choose a sustainable lifestyle or if you choose to like have less choice or bring less into your life, that in some way you're sacrificing something in your life. I think, so what would you say about that?
No, and I'm always really disappointed when I see that kind of language, what will you give up and what sacrifice will you make? To me, it's what are you adding to your life, weirdly, because you will save money. You will save so much money because you are not buying stuff that will immediately be thrown away. You're probably going to buy more seasonal food that is cheaper. You'll make more mindful shopping decisions, less impulse buys. So that's one thing. Another thing is you will enjoy the things in your life more. You'll get more satisfaction out of them because you have thought about what you're going to buy. You'll want to repair them. You'll want to wash them properly, and they will give you joy for longer. So changing your sustainable eating habits makes you appreciate your food more. Like I can get a bit kind of hippie, misty-eyed over this, but I'm telling you, it will improve your life. More consciously disposing of things you don't need anymore. Instead of just dumping them on charity shops, maybe passing them on through Daft or Free Cycle or Done Deal. You're sending them directly to someone who needs them and you'll make a connection with that person. It's just that to me, there are so many positives that outweigh the negative. And the negative is what I already described, the guilt you can have. But that is easily counteracted because your life just opens up when you think this way. It really does.
Oh, that's very exciting. I love all of that advice. Now you do have you have a book that's just released.
I do.
Very exciting. Congratulations. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the book?
So the book is called Stuff Happens. Yeah. Manage your clutter, clear your head, and discover what's really important. And it is about sustainable decluttering and consumer culture. So it's because I've worked for years helping people declutter their houses, but I was always doing it through my sustainability lens. And what always interested me was, obviously decluttering has been such a kind of a buzzword the last couple of years, Marie Kondo, all that. but no one was really talking about the elephant in the room with clutter, which is shopping, right? How does the clutter get into your house in the first place? It's so obvious. So the book is about that. Why do we have so much stuff? What are the psychological traps that advertisers and marketers are, sending into our eyeballs every hour of the day to get us to buy new stuff we don't need? How can we deepen our joy from what we own? How can we responsibly dispose of things at the end? How can we think about how things are produced so that we're not harming people and planet? It's all about that. And so much more. I mean, there's a chapter on body image in there, because I think that's such a huge part of clutter in wardrobes. People saving clothes that either used to fit them or, they hope will fit them again someday, that kind of stuff. So hilariously, the book is very cluttered. There's lots of ideas in there. But I hope there's something for everyone. It's really not... all your possessions are corrupting you, and it's bad that you like.
Not preachy. I don't think any of us going to need any of that right now with everything that's going on anyway. So that's great to know.
Not at all. I really turn away from any of that. Yeah. I don't want anyone to feel bad. It's about enhancing your life, not.
But that's the thing. Like, how would you break that myth? Also, like that, it does. There kind of is a sense that, like, oh, if I'm shopping, I'm doing the wrong thing. Or, how can it become a conversation that it's like, okay, like small little choices are going to kind of better my life. I can still shop without feeling the guilt, etc. Do you know what I mean?
Well, what I would say is, there's no human society ever recorded that did not express itself through what it wears, what it owns, material culture. So it's really natural, like, and I always say, like, I'm not a minimalist, which I know my room looks very bare, but that was because I do have furniture, I promise. But I'm not a minimalist. I love things. Like I love clothes. I love buying Irish craft, that kind of thing. I love eBay. And but it's about not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, like buying things and having things in your life that express who you are is not a kind of a corrupted evil of, the modern age. Obviously, capitalism and the global system of stuff is bad. So it's about finding the balance between those two things. I've really been heartened. I know that obviously with everyone stuck home, there's been a spike in online shopping. But
I was just about to touch base on that, yeah.
I've really been heartened by a lot of people are trying to support Irish brands, which is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic.
And I've actually had a good few friends who set up their own gorgeous, like, natural skincare or candle brands. And like that, I think that's really, really great. Obviously, it's so hard because it's there at the click of a button, and then you have something to look forward to. The package is coming, as you said in our chat before. You're not seeing your friends, but at least the package is coming.
Yeah.
And what I would say is another psychological trick I really like to teach people about that always strikes a chord is it's called the hedonic treadmill or the happiness treadmill, right? Your little brain hat.
I was like,
your little nerd hat went up. So basically, this has been proven many, many times over. It is a cycle so many of us are caught in where we get a niggle for something new, get excited, we pick the thing, we think about it, then our peak satisfaction is in the moment before we pay for it, right? This has been proven across the board. Right. Then we get the dopamine high from the new thing, it arrives, we're thrilled. Then we adapt, we get used to it, it fades into the background, and we get bored, and then the cycle repeats again. So if you can remember that your satisfaction is just in that moment when you pay for it. And if you do get that niggle, try and step back and say, okay, am I sad? Am I bored? Am I just a bit pissed off with everything? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Like, am I just a bit fed up? Like a lot of it is boredom, this stuff. And if we can step back and say, this is doing me no good, I am draining my bank account for, a momentary high that I think is going to last. I think that the attitude is like, okay, once I buy this dress or this makeup, like that satisfaction will last me forever and my life will be complete. I know that sounds a bit simplistic, but that is the message that's given to us by advertising, And it's not the case because the advertisers know we'll come back and back again and again and again.
We will keep coming back. Absolutely.
Chasing that high again and again and again. And if you can step off that treadmill, that cycle, you will just be so much happier. I have lived through this. Like I used to be a costume designer, so I was always buying stuff. Like really, like I don't really like use the word hoarder because it's, you know, that's a real anxiety disorder for a lot of people. You know, we use it a bit flippantly, but I had a lot of stuff, and training myself to only buy what I really love and really need. You have so much more headspace, I'm telling you. Like,
it's such an interesting concept. Like I'm really, really intrigued by that. But just backtracking a small bit, like with the fashion and how much there has been such a peak with online shopping. Can you give like some little like tidbits of information about decluttering, like taking that moment now for all of us to be like, okay, I've got 14 dresses of the same kind. Do you know what I mean? My wardrobe is now like bulging, it's overflowing. Like, you know, you're like, okay, we all have a time on our hands, we're at home, and it's like, okay, I've got all these things and nowhere to go really as such. And as you said, I've had that momentarily, that high of when I got it, but how can I declutter that space and my mind, or how can I train myself as well to be like, you know what, that's the stuff that I really love. You know what I mean? Or that's the stuff. Or are there any places that you would suggest to like, okay, I'm going to get rid of this stuff and donate it here, or pay it forward here, or clothes swap, etc. Anything like that you'd like to
I mean, obviously passing things on is a little bit harder now because we don't have any clothes swaps available and the charity shops are closed. But I've gotten messages a lot from people saying, where do I send stuff? I would say Liberty's Recycling are a company who have clothes banks all over the country. And they're really, really good. Some clothes banks are a little bit dodgy. You have to do your research. They might not be fully legit. And also I would encourage people not to use them as kind of dumping grounds as well, which often happens, which is really frustrating because a huge percentage of the clothes we send to charity are actually shipped overseas. You know, I think we really need to get rid of the idea that donating to charity is this kind of virtuous act. We're actually, it's just a scapegoat for our clutter. Not that obviously it's way better than dumping it, but it's often an excuse to just buy new stuff. You know, you can say like, oh, I do a big charity clear out and I'll feel so good. You know, we need to get out of that. I call this the clutter cycle, where you just do a clear out once a year, every 6 months, and then you just buy stuff again and you're back to square one. It's crazy.
I worked on a cruise ship, and I do 6-month contracts, but I found it really cathartic because every 6 months or 9 months when that contract was over, it was like a massive clear out. But I'm a little bit like pat myself on the back. I used to do what you said at the start of this interview. When I'd go off on a contract, I would like bring back out the stuff from the year before and be like, oh, I haven't worn this dress. I've missed her. So I did do that. So I feel like I consciously was making some sort of effort. So that does kind of help. But sorry, back to what you were talking about.
But fantastic. Like you're just lending strength to my argument. Like, yeah. And I think there's such an idea that like you need something new to make you feel a certain way. And it's not true. It's not true. Because we just get bored of things, don't we? Yeah. I was going to say, I would say obviously there's loads of great clothing sharing apps like oh my God, I've lost, what's it called? Depop. Depop is fantastic. Thriftify is an Irish business that's like basically an online charity shop. It's fantastic. And I've also seen people sell their clothes and their stuff on Done Deal, on adverts. So all that is really, really great. Also, if you would like to donate something directly to people in need, Let's Help Direct Provision take children's clothes of any age, and Inner City Helping Homeless. Any homeless charities are really, really great. So what I would encourage you is to, if you are getting rid of stuff, try and find somewhere to send it that will be really useful. Like I said, you'll just feel so much better. Like during the first lockdown, I had this kind of exercise cushion that I had got to make my office chair more comfortable, and it wasn't really fit for purpose. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I put it up on adverts, and a lady who works in a school for children with special needs was like, that's fantastic. That'll be great for my autistic students. And like, I just feel so great knowing that it's somewhere that it is of use, not just like languishing in a charity shop. Do you know what I mean?
I think sometimes as well, we underestimate the things that possibly are of use that are in our wardrobes or in our homes. You know what I mean? That you're like, oh, no one would want that. But just because we've it's run its course for us doesn't mean it necessarily wouldn't be of any, somebody else mightn't really enjoy.
Absolutely. One man's trash, honestly.
Yeah,
never know. Honestly, just always try Free Cycle. I don't know if I said it already, is a fantastic service. You can sign up based on your area, and it's just, everything is just given away for free. And the stuff on there is amazing. You kind of think, who would want this? But someone does. You know, so like
there's always someone who's going to want it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you asked about starting a declutter. What I would say is, it can be a bit overwhelming. So be kind to yourself. Definitely give yourself time at the end to clear up. That's really important, because if you pull everything out of your wardrobe and then comes 6 o'clock and you're starving and you have to make the dinner and your bedroom is in a tip, that the next day you're going to be like, well, F this, I'm done. Like, I don't want this. I don't want to continue this. So always leave time at the end to clear up. Start with a small achievable task, like one drawer, or even like your bedside locker that you can complete, and then say, oh, I'm like great now. You have a sense of achievement to kind of spur you on. And then if not all decluttering decisions are yes, no, black and white, you know, and I think this is really dishonest. Like, I see a lot of kind of loose decluttering articles saying, if you have more than 6 months, get rid of it. It's way more complicated than that. I don't think that's fair to people. So what I call them is the sticky items, the items that are not yes or no, that you kind of have to dig a bit deeper to figure out why you're keeping them. And there's kind of broad categories of reasons for that. Either you're guilty about the money you spent, you're guilty for body image reasons, you're guilty because it's useful, but you're not using it. I think that's a big one for Irish people, you know, like, it's useful and like, don't waste it. I think it is, because, you know, we're traditionally quite a poor country. You know, our grandparents would have grown up with serious thrift, and like, so I think that's a big one for us. So it's about trying to identify, okay, what is it about this that I'm getting stuck with, and sitting with that and saying, okay, well, can I let it go now that I know? And it might take a couple of rounds of decluttering before an item kind of de-sticks, but that is okay. That is the case for everybody. Like, I still have 1 or 2 things in my wardrobe that I'm still like, oh, I don't know. Like,
can't let it go. I can't
let it go. This weird dress that has never fitted me, that I don't even really like, but it was expensive. Self-compassion is a big thing.
It's needed and it's warranted. Absolutely. Of course it is. And it's just it's great, as you said, just small things, small little actions, and you will feel a sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is great.
And be careful of decision fatigue, because
decision fatigue.
Yeah, because your brain just gets tired. I know that sounds, it's exactly what it sounds like. Your brain gets tired from making constant decisions. So you will be way more tired than you realize. So like a client session for me is usually only 4 hours long, because a whole day is it just wipes you out. Like, sometimes I would go for longer if we're like really getting going. But I would say you will be warned that you will be exhausted, because your brain is just wrecked from all the decisions.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's a great top tip. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now, you seem to wear like a lot of hats. You're an activist, you're a writer, you've got now a published book. You're writing things for companies. You're also online doing different things. Which is like your favorite hat as such to wear, or?
Oh gosh, my favorite hat is I loved writing the book, and I really did. It was a dream come true, honestly. I've always loved writing long form articles. You know, I do love doing the Instagram content, but I like getting deeper into the issues, you know, because it is complicated. And, you know, a lot of our Instagram activism is great, but it kind of reduces the issues a little bit, and that frustrates me.
Do you want to just let everyone know your Instagram?
Oh yeah, my Instagram is @StuffHappensEmma. So the same name as the book. And the book is available from Dubray and Eason's, and I think pretty much any bookshop at this stage.
Oh, fantastic.
So you can find all my ramblings on my @Stuff Happens. Yeah.
Well, Emma, I am so thankful, and we're all so thankful and grateful to have you here with all of your ramblings. It's been fantastic. So thank you once again. Thanks a million, Emma, and have a great day.
Thanks so much, Judith.
Bye.